just heard the prosecutor and the defense attorney go after Deanna Reed in different ways, but they're asking her the same question. They're both saying, hey, Travis didn't do this to you, what he may have done or the defense claims he did to Jodi. And so why are both sides asking the same question, trying to make the same point with the same witness? Yeah, they had two different relationships, and this woman's relationship with Travis Alexander was very different from Jodi's relationship with Travis Alexander. Big whoop. And also Anahita Sedaghatfar for the defense.
Jane, I'm wondering why the prosecutor called this witness, because this witness made the point that the defense is trying to prove all along, that this girl, Travis's ex-girlfriend, had a different relationship than Jodi had with Travis. And unfortunately, he had to use Travis Alexander's own words to drive that point home, that just because he didn't call you a slut, he didn't call you a whore, he didn't call you a three-hole wonder, it doesn't mean that he didn't use those words towards Jodi Arias. People treat different relationships differently, and that's the point that the defense was trying to make, and a lot has been made as to why the defense used those words, and let's not beat around the bush, Jane. He was doing that for effect.
Let's not beat around the bush.
And that's his job.
Let's not beat around the bush. The prosecution called her because she is painting an accurate picture of Travis Alexander. He didn't abuse her. He didn't force her into having sex. He didn't speak to her in negative ways. That's why the prosecutor called her, because here you have a credible woman, Deanna, who's very truthful about everything. She says, look, yeah, we had sex. We violated the law of chastity. And she's a very credible witness. Juxtaposed that with a confirmed liar, and that's exact. Let me finish.
The truth, but
who could be telling the truth?
That he treated both girls the same.
Here's the point, though. Do you have to sanitize a case in order to prove a case? I think not.
Scales and numbers, they're not concerned with that. They're concerned with the hard, factual evidence that went on at the beginning.
Sedaghatfar for the defense. How on earth does the defense handle these gruesome autopsy photos? I can tell you we cannot show them, but they are horrifying. They are the stuff of nightmares of Travis Alexander. His throat slit ear to ear. He seems almost decapitated. I mean, what on earth can the defense say to counter that image?
That's going to be very difficult. I mean, the photos are gruesome. They are. This is a very, very sad situation, Jane. But I think at the end of the day, the defense is going to have to tie everything up in closing. And again, sadly, point out to the jurors that Travis Alexander was not this innocent, church-going, devout Mormon guy that the prosecutor was pointing him out or portraying him to be. That he actually lived a double life. That he was abusive to Jodi Arias. That this Travis Alexander beat her physically. He abused her sexually.
There's no evidence of that. Come on now.
And that her testimony is evidence. I don't know why everyone keeps saying there's no evidence. Her testimony is evidence. We had two
She's a liar. That's why. She's a pathological liar.
That's going to be up for the jury to determine how much credence they're going to give her. But let's not forget, we had two experts testify that Jodi was a victim of domestic violence. She was a battered woman. Alice LaViolette, like her or not, she has over 30 years experience in this field. And, you know, all this back and forth about how she's subjective, she somehow had such strong feelings for Jodi that she would ignore facts that would, you know, possibly affect her conclusions just to set Jodi free. I think that's preposterous, and I think the fact that the prosecution made those arguments
is a break. But I got to tell you, there's so much to tell you about. Jodi's tweeting
is truth, and I would argue zero.
Sedaghatfar. I would argue that there's truth mixed in with lies, which makes it even more complicated. Anahita Sedaghatfar, you represent the defense here on this show tonight. This is a common sense point. We've all had these shelves. We've all knocked over these shelves in frustration because they have 4 little pins, and we're always leaning on them, and then they collapse. I mean, it's happened to all of us. Anybody that hasn't happened to, raise your hand right now. Okay, so did you raise your hand? Okay. No, it's happened to all of us. So this is one of those great common sense points that really punctures a hole in this idea that she flew up in what I call the Tinkerbell move and grabbed this gun, which the prosecution says doesn't exist.
Well, you know what? I think the bottom line with this testimony is, again, the prosecution is trying to show premeditation. And I just simply don't think they have proven that she premeditated this murder, and the defense is going to focus on this fact in their closing. The manner of killing, Jane, the manner of killing. If this was premeditated, if Jodi indeed had the gun and it wasn't up on that shelf at Travis's home like she claims, why didn't she just walk in and shoot Travis Alexander? We all
Maybe
know
she wanted to have sex with him first one last time.
Well,
watching a different trial, honestly.
Yeah,
by all accounts, hold on.
Nuts.
By all accounts, there was a physical struggle that occurred between Jodi and Travis.
By all accounts, by her account.
Absolutely.
Well,
the prosecution.
Wait a second. No.
There was a
by
gun
all accounts,
battle.
by Jodi's account.
Let me finish my point. Why would Jodi Arias engage in a physical struggle with somebody so much bigger than her? With a knife? If she had a gun, if she stole the gun from her grandparents' home, why didn't she walk into his house and just shoot him? Even if she wanted to have sex with him first, as Jane claims, she still could have shot him. Why did she engage in a physical struggle with somebody bigger than her? That is what
you're asking a question. Now let me give our other panelists a chance to
Let
answer.
us answer.
Okay, Stacey.
Go ahead.
Yeah, Stacey, go.
I don't know if we're watching a complete different trial. How do you discount the premeditation? How do you discount the gas cans? How do you discount her traveling? How do you discount the stalking, the breaking into the emails, the stealing of the gun, the having a knife present? All of those things match up to premeditation. So if you want to take the one little thing that she has to say, she has no credibility at all. The judge is going to give an instruction. You can believe all of the testimony, none of the testimony, some of the testimony.
All right.
You cannot believe one word she has to say.
All right.
And one other thing, Anahita, wait.
10 seconds.
This re-victimizing of Travis is such complete and utter nonsense. There is no proof that he abused her, and there is no proof that he was a pedophile, as you asserted earlier.
It's a no, actually, I never asserted that. What I'm saying is that because this is a self-defense case, what is the defense going to have to do? They're going to have to show that Jodi had a reasonable fear of Travis Alexander when she claims that he lunged at her. And in order to do that, sadly, in these cases, you are, to a certain extent, going to have to put the victim on trial. The defense is doing their job, and that's basically what...
Sidebar, please. Okay, we're going to take a break. On the other side, so let's debate that. Anahita Sedaghatfar for the defense. I mean, really? It's not believable that Travis had a gun up there at the top of that shelf that he secretly owned, that Jodi said he didn't own when she was interrogated by cops, that his friend Dave Hall says he didn't have a gun, and that she flew up there and grabbed it and used it against him when he attacked her. How do you make that case?
Well, I've already explained my opinion on what I think the deal is with this gun, but I think the important point to note here is that, Jane, the jurors were still asking questions. They still had questions in this rebuttal of this witness. And if I'm the defense, I'm thankful that they're still asking questions. Why? Because if the jurors have already made up their mind that Jodi Arias is guilty, as a lot of people are predicting, why are they continuing to ask questions? Even if the questions are skeptical. So I'm glad it shows me that the jurors possibly have not made up their mind yet. So I think that's a good thing.
I just can't believe you're saying that. The questions are so skeptical.
Why are they still asking questions? Wouldn't they want to go home after months sitting in this jury box?
You know why they're asking questions? Because they take it seriously that they have a woman's life or death in their hands. That is commendable. But the jury's questions, they don't believe this gun story. And furthermore, Jodi's gun story, just like all of her other stories, have evolved.